All right. Just getting going here. We're going to have a few minutes before I invite all of our guests in. We're going to be interviewing 5 different live sailing channels, so it should be pretty awesome. I'm going to start the clock here a little bit, let everybody get online. I did see Caddy and the Cat is live, Sailing Arbo Ventures live, so everybody's getting on live. It's so exciting. Thanks, guys, for coming in. If you're not quite sure what you're doing here, welcome to my boat. My name is Randy, and I'm a part of Destination Adrift. We are a family that's lived on a sailing catamaran for 5 years, and today I'm going to be interviewing 5 other sailing couples, families that go live as well. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to bring them in, but I want to let everybody's lives build up a little bit so you get a big viewing. Hey, Modern Day Cowboy. And then we'll go live with all of our guests. So again, welcome in. I'm inside today. I was going to be outside, but we do have a chance of rain today. So I want to make sure that I don't have to run inside and get my notes wet if I'm outside and the rain comes. So we've got quite a few questions. Quite a few questions that are asked a lot, like over and over in lives. And so we're going to get ready together, and hopefully you get the chance to hear from everybody kind of at the same time. And then after we go through a list of questions, we're going to have a Q&A at the end of the live stream. So it should be about an hour, hour and a half. We'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear. But we'll give everybody a few more minutes to get in here. While we're hanging out, where's everybody tuning in from? We are coming to you from Stuart, Florida. I want to make sure I'm in the right thing here. Hey, thanks for the heart me. I appreciate it. Actually, probably won't need a sticker soon, so I'll delete that. Hey, Kalila in Kansas, welcome in. What's going to be really cool about this is when everyone's live in the boxes, what you can do is if you want to go around to all the different rooms, you can press, I think if you press on their face, a box will pop up at the bottom, and you should be able to go to their live as well. And you can still gift, and you can tap on their screen and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool too, is you can support everybody or go to them and follow and that sort of thing. If you don't already follow all of us, because I know we're going to have a lot of the same people in our rooms that are always constantly in our chats. Hey, Kalila, thank you again for the heart me. So it's going to be pretty fun. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've got Bella here. She's sleeping. We just had a paddleboard session a few hours before this, so she's extremely tired. We came in, she ate lunch and went right to bed. So she is laying right here by me. She's again wondering, who are you talking to? You're not talking to me. I know that. I'm not saying any of her doggy words. And I won't, because if I say something like FISH or the T word. Thanks, MJ, for the heart me. Appreciate it. Hey, Arquay, thank you for the roses. Welcome to my boat. If I say anything like that, she will just pop up and go bonkers. So I can only focus on one thing at a time. So welcome in, everybody. We're about to get started. We've just got about 10 more minutes to go. Probably at like 3 minutes of, we will get everybody, make sure we can get everybody connected. And then that way we won't have any issues. So let me know if anything goes crazy, like the sound or I'm lagging. I'm on Wi-Fi right now, but it shouldn't be an issue. We have it's cloudy, but our Starlink is working okay. But since I'm leading, I want to make sure that I'm online okay. So thanks again for all the taps. Thanks, Arquay, for the 10 roses. Appreciate it. Oh, Arquay, so in 10 minutes, we're going to be having something called Sunday Sailors Roundtable. And I'm inviting 5 other sailing live channels to come in. And we're going to have a little roundtable discussion about some questions about boat life. And then we're going to open it up to questions from the chat. So it should be really fun. If you haven't followed some of these sailing groups, because we talked about boating, I know, before. So if you haven't followed some of these sailing groups, you should today. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We will have Adventures with the Melvins, Arbo Venture, Caddy and the Cat, Sailing Summit, and Sailing Together. I think George is unavailable. I think he's working. My husband's unavailable. He's working. But let's be honest, I don't know if I'm ever going to get him on a live. Essence, thank you for the popular vote. Appreciate you. Welcome in. I think the other groups will have their families with them. So or at least their significant other. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, a couple of minutes, probably like 1:55. I'll bring everybody in just to make sure we're all able to be on the same page here. Stargazing, thank you for the follow. So in the meantime, if you guys have questions specifically about my boat, I can answer that, or we can just chill. I love to know where people are tuning in from and what your weather's like. That's a popular thing to know about. We have had cloudy skies all day, and for the past like day and a half, it's been raining on and off. And thank goodness, because the last time it rained here was about a month ago. And so here in this area of Florida, it's been really dry. So our grass has been brown. There's not really any flowers that want to bloom. My orchids are like struggling outside. So we're happy to see the rain for sure. Arkwright says we've had 2 days of rain in Atlanta. Oh, nice. So it cools it down. Yeah, today with the cloud cover, it said it was like 78 or almost 80 today. But with the cloud cover, Bella and I were able to paddleboard, no issues. We weren't hot at all. I mean, she got hot a little bit, but then she got to go for a swim. That's why she's so tired right now. She's so tuckered out. Oh my goodness. So cool. Let me see if I can check in here and see who's live. I just want to be sure I do this. This is actually my first time doing this, so just bear with me. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, we'll wait for just a few more minutes. I don't want to rush people. Yeah, purple. Okay, maybe. If you guys want to, you can go to Angel's page and click the purple ticket link. Hello in Miami. Welcome in. Welcome to Stuart, Florida. This is inside my boat. We're sitting in what's known as the saloon or salon, whatever you want to call it. And you're sitting right now on our dining room table, which is pretty cool. Our dining room table actually drops down to make a bed. So this is kind of the back. This would be like the headboard of the bed. And I'm sitting on part of the bed. When the table drops down, we can put cushions on it and make it a whole bed. So I'm about 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", and my feet don't go off the bed. So if that tells you how big this table is, it's a pretty awesome place to sleep. And we usually sleep here if we have to go, if we're doing overnighters or something, and the door is right behind us or right behind you guys, and I can run out there and switch positions with my husband. He can come in and sleep and still be, when is the boat party? Yeah, seriously, Essence, that'd be awesome. Well, listen, we're going to be cruising out the eastern seaboard this summer. So if I stop in your town, if you guys are on the East Coast, then by all means, you're welcome to the boat for sure. All right, 1:53. Let me see if I can get the... So if you guys are just joining, in a couple minutes, we're going to be inviting our guests in. I'm going to attempt to do my first interview online. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for the follow. And we're going to have 5 other sailing families or couples coming in and talking about their sailing adventures. I know, MJ, that would be so awesome. Seriously, I'm going to let you guys are going to be following the adventure, so you'll see where I am. And whatever, let's meet up for a coffee. If you want a boat tour, personal boat tour, I don't care. Like, come on aboard. My husband will be like, ugh. But I think it would be awesome. Gracie, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Okay, 1:54. Let me get this set up. So we are doing, let me talk while I walk through this so I make sure I'm doing it right. We want a grid layout. Okay. And viewers will see available, so I always show layout. Request, allow requests of visitors. Sorry, I'm just walking through this. Okay, so guests. And I want to... Let's see here. Who's online? All right, let's see if we can do this. 3 invites. Hey!
Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Hi.
Hey!
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going? Okay, I'm going to try to get everybody in here, so bear with me. We're getting on a little early so I can get everybody in here. 1 second. Hey, this is so cool.
This is so cool.
Okay, we've got a few more to go. 1 second. Let me see if I can get Caddy and Arbo.
Hey, Tiff. Good to see you. Hi, guys. It's so fun to be talking on live like this.
I know. We were saying, like, normally we chat, like, in each other's lives. But now face like this.
It's kind of weird because it's like I feel like I know you all, even though we've never. I mean, well, no, Tiffany and I have met in real life, but.
All right. So for me, I cannot add more for some reason. Let me see here.
This is why I'm glad I'm not hosting, because I don't know what I'm doing.
No pressure, right? No pressure for me. Okay, so I know I have to do. If anyone knows. Wait, okay, let me try co-host in progress, can't change settings. Lovely. So I know there's a way I can add up to like 9 people. If anyone has a tip, please feel free to drop a comment. Or I might have to pick.
Like, can one of us add?
Maybe, yeah.
I have a guest button.
Yeah, try that. I'm looking for. I know I'm trying to. Yeah, so Arbo Venture is saying, can you invite me? Try to invite them.
Mine says you'll disconnect creators if you go live with guests. Co-host in progress couldn't change your settings, it says.
Okay. Let me log out. If somebody wants to send them a message or get on their live, let me kick you guys out. We're going to try it one more time. Hold. 1 second. Okay. Let's try this again. Fixed panel. Switch. Number of spots. Thanks y'all for change. Thanks y'all for waiting. Okay, I think we'll get there now. Let's see here. Where's everybody else? Hey.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get everybody in here. Can you do you have your camera on? There we go. Okay, now I'm trying to find everybody. Hey, welcome in. Sorry, I was totally messing up at first and I couldn't add you guys.
Oh, it's fine.
So now I've only got you. Let me see if I can invite everybody else.
No, it's totally fine. I feel like this with lives. I don't know if it's helpful. I have like a screen with 1, 2, 3, 4, about 7 invite spots.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Yeah, see if you can invite everybody else. It won't let me search. This is my first time doing this, so I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Let's see here. We're still got a few minutes.
Yeah, we're totally fine.
So co-host, invite.
Yeah, it's weird. Mine said no friends to invite, but let me see.
Because we had a box of 4. There was 4 of us at least, but I couldn't add more.
I know. I feel like I originally saw the invite and I didn't click on it. And then because the screen filled up, I think that was the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Disconnect guests first to invite live creators. Let me try that first. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay. I know, we're trying. Okay, accept and accept. So if you guys can jump in their lives and ask them to invite themselves.
So we talked in the last one and we realized that we had to come to you.
Okay, so we just need
Melvin.
I haven't seen Patty yet.
Tiffany too.
And then get the Melvins back. So if somebody in chat wants to go in their live and just tell them to come invite, I told them to request. Okay, perfect. So let me see here. We're almost there, you guys, and it's almost 2 o'clock, so we're right on schedule.
Yeah, look at it.
We're doing great. We're doing great.
We're doing good. What else do we have to do? We're sailors, right? Like, we're used to slow going.
Timeline, it depends on the day, right?
Exactly.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Okay. Anybody? No, I saw you guys. Oh, here we go. No, I don't want that person. So yeah, they need to come request. It won't let me invite.
Thanks for joining, Liz. Hi, Paula.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you for being here.
And being patient.
Yeah, I'm being patient. We're almost there. If somebody in our chat can go in their live specifically and tell them to come request to be in the live, then we'll be all set.
I'll go see it. Thanks, Kay. What would we do without you guys?
We have so many shared viewers, so I'm sure somebody will be.
I know, that's funny because I feel like on my live, some of the people, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I see the same people. It's kind of cool.
It is so cool.
Yeah, I love that too.
Someone commented on a TikTok and they were like, I don't know how I got on the sailing page, but now I get spammed with sailing life. And I'm like, I love that.
Yeah, once you look at one video,
I don't know. I was just like posting videos of like fun, and then all of a sudden all my For You page is TikTok. I mean, it's sailors. Hi, Kelly.
Yeah, same thing. Okay, so the Melvins are coming in. Let's see if we can get Caddy and the cat. I haven't seen them, but if somebody can go into their live and tell them to come request. We're almost there. Yay.
I'm so proud of us, guys.
So cool. Okay, so we might get started as long as if somebody can help me out again and just go into Caddy and the cat.
Samantha's going. Samantha's going.
Okay. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you, Samantha.
And then what we'll probably do is we'll probably start at the top and go down, and then they'll be last to answer as soon as they get in here. So that would be perfect. So I'll keep an eye out for them when they pop in. Okay, well, welcome in, guys. We're going to get started. Welcome to Sunday Sailors Roundtable. This is so awesome. We've got Sailing Together, Sailing Summit, Sailing Our Boat Venture. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Adventures with the Melvins, and soon we'll have Caddy and the cat. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And I did see DD214 Veteran. They were live today too. So I'm gonna hopefully invite them to the next one. That would be awesome to have another group come in. All right, so how this is gonna work is I'll ask some questions. We're just gonna go around the round table. And you can answer, take like a minute to answer. And then viewers, if you want to, you can still click on everyone's lovely faces, go to their live and gift them, tap on their screen and all that fun stuff. So you can do that as well too if you haven't followed everybody. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to start with intros. They're coming. Yay. Okay, thank you, Samantha. Appreciate it. I'll keep an eye out. We're going to start with intros. All right, so you're going to start with your name if you want, type of boat and boat name, how long you've lived on it, and your current general location, starting with Anna. Go.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Anna, and I live aboard with my two daughters, Grace and Eleanor. They're 11 and 7, and my husband, George, and he'll probably pop in and out because he's too busy to stay still. And yeah, we are on Cape Cod, which is where we're from. We just spent the last 4 months sailing to the Bahamas and back. And we live on a 65-foot steel-hulled, 3-masted cargo schooner named the Sarah G. And I've lived aboard this boat since March 2020. So for 5 years on this boat. And we've been sailing and full-time live aboards for 7 years.
That's awesome. Sailing Summit, go for it.
Hey everyone, I'm Leanna.
I'm Will.
And we are currently in the Abacos in the Bahamas. We're on a Catalina 36, 2001 Catalina 36. So I think probably one of the smaller boats of our group here, but it's perfect for the two of us. And we've been living full time on it February. So it's our first year doing the cruising lifestyle, but so far so good.
Awesome. Our boat venture?
All right. I'm alone because Dale just left to go to get something, but I'm Christina. And we have a 7 and a 9-year-old, Ellie and Axel, and Dale is my fiance. We started off on a power yacht, so not a sailboat, but we loved it. We got rid of everything and we're like, let's go all in on this. So we got our 40-foot Leopard catamaran in December, and Bahamas 3 times
just got back from the Abacos, which is our favorite place. So have so much fun there. And yeah, we love it. I'm so excited about it all.
So cool. Tiffany?
My name is Tiffany. I live on my sailboat with my husband and our two boys, Chandler and Sailor. I'm that dedicated, named my kid Sailor. We're here right now in Dominican Republic, and we started back in Florida, and we have a Beneteau Oceanus 500. It's older, 1991, but we love it, and it's been perfect for our family. I'm trying to turn it around.
Do you want me to help? Oh yeah, I can turn your camera on if you want.
Oh, I'm trying to turn it around.
Double click your screen.
Oh wait, there it is. It's okay. We all struggle. Don't
no
feel
worries.
bad.
Yay, Caddy and the cat. Woo woo. Okay, so we're just doing introductions. We're doing your names if you want, type of boat and the name of your boat, how long you've lived on it, and your current general location.
Is it my turn? I missed
Yes.
minutes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. We're actually joining you from Stuart, Florida today at our home marina here in Stuart, Florida. But we're on a 30-foot Endeavor catamaran, and we have 2 dogs on our boat and a cat. So we have Copper and Lexi and Josie, and then the captain, who I would not be doing this without. He knows way more than I do. But happy to be here.
Yay, we're glad you're joining us. So cool. All right, well, let's move on to the next question. People want to know how and why did you choose this lifestyle? Sailing together?
Okay, let me condense it in my brain really quick. So we had our second daughter, Eleanor, and my husband used to captain a fishing boat. He was a sea clammer for 10 years as the captain, and he worked like 100 hours a week fishing. And our second daughter was born, and our older daughter was 3, and we both kind of looked at each other and was like, this cannot possibly be what life is supposed to be like. Like, we were like ships in the night. He felt like he missed all the toddler years of our older daughter. And we literally typed into Google how to travel the world for free. Because we were like, well, we're not going to be working. We have no money. So like, we were like, how can we do this? And sailing channels popped up, and we were like, oh, I think we could probably do that. And that was, my daughter was born June 2017, and we moved on to our first boat, which was a 30-foot Catalina. We moved on to it November 2018. So it took us a year and a half of planning and getting our stuff together, but we sold everything we owned and moved out of a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house onto a 30-foot boat and just were like, let's just do this. And that was 7 years ago. So it's worked out so far. But it was really just like we all wanted to be with each other, and we loved each other, and we wanted to spend time as a family in a way that we just felt like we couldn't with land life. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Sailing Summit?
Well, I would say it's a combination of 2 things. I grew up sailing in a lake in Colorado, and I'd always kind of wanted to do something bigger on the ocean. And my Brianna and I here just graduated college, and we're part of the film industry. So we graduated during the film strike. We worked off the time to try to go into a career, and we got kind of frustrated, wanted to find a way to, you know what, like let's let the cool down and settle and go do something serious.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Will, I will say. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you.
Okay. I'll try to get closer.
No worries. But you don't have to repeat. I think we heard most of it.
Okay. In short, lake sailor that's trying to do some ocean stuff, and then we're taking a year off after graduating college to do some exploring, some adventuring.
That's super cool. That's awesome. Sailing our, oh, I see we have a guest. Yay! Hi.
I made it.
Do you want to answer this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, started a few years ago. I just at work, I leave during the day and I go and just walk. There's a marina right across the street. I like to go and walk during the day and walk through the marina and see all these boats and be like, honestly, I have all this stuff. I just want to downsize and I could live on a boat. Like this. It seemed like such a real possibility, and started shopping around, found something, and bought it and lived on it. And that was around the same time I met Christina. And it was actually funny when we first met. I was like, so, I hope you don't judge me on this, but I live on a boat.
And he didn't know that was like my biggest dream.
She was like nuts about that.
I was like, what? So we were like, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we had a house and I had a house and I was like, let's do this boat thing. The kids were into it. We were like, what a better way to raise kids and like be a family and show them just like a different version of life. And it's so freeing. You don't have stuff weighing you down. So we went to the Bahamas on that boat. And I think that was our moment where we're like, we want to do this full time, but not spend $4,000 in fuel every time. So we're like, okay, let's look for a sailboat. Found this boat.
We're kind of like, for like at least 6 months and figure out at the end of 6 months, do we want to sell a boat and go to house life, or are we, what's going to happen? And we lived on that boat for about 6 months, and we were like, you know what? We just want to size up. We want something a little more comfortable, but we like boat life. And so,
that's our story.
That's awesome. Melvin's?
So my husband and I have been together for 15 years, and he is the one who introduced me to sailing. He started sailing when he was about 7 years old on like small little like laser, sunfish, little things like that. And then he taught me. I've always had a passion for travel, so travel and sailing, like I was already hooked on sailing. And then when I realized, hey, I can combine sailing and travel, it was like the perfect combination. So this is our third time doing some traveling on a sailboat. We traveled the first time on a Hunter 35. And we just did the Bahamas for the season and back twice. And then this time, we just kind of went all in and got a bigger boat and plan to go for longer and further.
Super cool. Caddy and the cat?
Hi. So we had been looking for our boat for like almost 2 years, but we decided we wanted to get into it because we have 4-legged babies and we wanted to take them with us when we traveled. And it's just so hard to fly, and I don't like the way they fly the animals sometimes. So the captain grew up on a boat. Mike grew up on a boat, and he was driving a dinghy by the time he was 4 and working on engines by the time he was 5, So, so I had no doubt that we could do this, and I had faith in his capabilities. And that's how we got started. We bought a 30-foot Endeavor catamaran and a sailing cat. And last summer, we spent the summer just putting the things into it that we wanted, like solar, water maker, all the important things to go off the grid. And we have been having a blast since then, and exploring the Keys. And this summer, we plan on doing the Dry Tortugas and the Bahamas. So I've been watching everyone's videos. You're giving me so much inspiration. I love it. If any of my followers here and you haven't followed the rest of these sailors, you must, because their adventures are simply amazing. But we're looking forward to it right now. We're taking care of some business up in Stewart, but we'll be getting back on the boats the weekend of the 20th, I think, and heading down to do what we call the lower loop. So we leave out of Marathon, Florida, and the Florida Keys, and we do like a little stop at Picnic Island, and then we go to Key West, and we dock there, and then we come up on the bay side, and it's so much fun, and we call that the lower loop. It's the only loop we're willing to do at this point, but,
Oh. That's awesome. Okay, before we get to the next section, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Randy. I live on this boat with my husband, Steve, and our son, Cody, who's almost 18 and ready to leave us. So we'll be empty nesters and semi-retired soon. I have a fat, fluffy dog named Bella, and she is our awesome boat dog. We live on a 2002 Fontaine Peugeot Athena 38 sailing catamaran. So we're catamaran folks. And we're actually currently based out of Stewart, Florida right now, but we're going to be heading north, hopefully to Maine. We'll see how far north we get. So that's our summer plans. Okay, moving on. Show of hands. We have 3 questions, just show of hands. Was anyone a little reluctant to do this? No?
No.
That's me. I was hoping someone else would be okay.
Well, I'll say I was reluctant, but in a different way. It wasn't about the sailing. It was about how my family would react to us deciding to go sailing. But it wasn't about sailing. Yeah.
I was very nervous, but I had a lot of fears. I grew up in Colorado in dry land, like, well, a little lake is all I knew, so I was very nervous. Okay, next, a show of hands. Who has pets aboard?
Well, you guys know I do, but I'll show my hand.
Yes. Okay. Okay, cool. And then who misses, show of hands, who misses life on land?
We have a mix, so I have to put that out there. We have a mix.
Okay, that's okay. There's some things, there's some things I do miss, like a full-size bathtub.
I miss a hot shower for as long as I want.
As long as you want.
Have a hot shower.
That'll be a good question. Yeah, that'll be a good question for next time. What do you miss the most? Okay, let's see here. Moving on to the next question. So just so the chat knows how this is going to go, we've got a few more questions to get through, and then we'll scroll through the comments and see if there's anything we missed, and we'll do Q&A that way. Okay, next question is, how do you afford this lifestyle, and do you still work? Anna.
Yeah, that's actually so funny because before I popped on this live, I was about to post a video about responding to a comment of somebody that just irritated me because the assumption, because we're from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, so the assumption is that we're very wealthy people, and it's yeah, and the video I posted yesterday was me literally cleaning toilets. So anyway, we're not wealthy at all. We definitely work really, really hard for this lifestyle to work, and first of all, choosing to sail in and of itself has there's a lot to that, but then also being able to afford it, right? So we travel for 5 to 6 months a year, and then we're home for 6 to 7 months a year. But even when we're home, we take trips. We'll sail to Canada this summer. We'll sail to Maine, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and Provincetown are our summer sailing trips. So yeah, even though we are not full-time travelers, we're full-time live aboard. So we do have to work. My husband is a concrete flat worker. He pours concrete floors, and he owns his own business. So he's a subcontractor. So he's able to pick and choose contracts for when we're home. And then it's very typical Cape Cod. We have we're kind of have our hand in many different pots. We're all doing a bunch of different things so that we can fund our lifestyle. And, it can be hard to not be actually making a lot of income for the 6 months that you're sailing. So having not only money to live on while you're making money, but also saving it and whatever. So it's really just a matter of, for us, it's just a matter of saving as much money as we can while we're home making money.
Perfect. What a great place to be too. Cape Cod in the summer. That's awesome.
Yeah, very lucky.
Sailing Summit?
Yeah, so for us, we kind of saw this adventure in this year as our post-college gap year. So we worked for 6 months out of college, saving. Will did a full-time job at the local marina. I was working 3 part-time jobs, doggy daycare, music venue, and a boutique. And we saved as much as we could. And then we said, all right, we're going to take these next 6 months to work on the boat and do this adventure, and then live off of our savings, as well as Will does some remote video editing work as well. So sometimes we have little gigs that come up here and there for some more money while we're doing this. And then similar to Anna, in the summer, we will be going back to work in order to refund ourselves what we've been spending. But also too, I think that you can kind of do boat life on a lot of different budgets. So you're just doing it as scrappy as you can. Our boat has the necessary gadgets, but nothing more than what we need to be doing this safely. So yeah, that's kind of how it's been working for us.
That's awesome. Our Venture?
First of all, I love the answers so far. They're all so cool. This is our most asked question on social media, and by so many people that we meet is how do you do this? How do you afford this? We both work full time remote. Dale, and
a job, and I do software consulting. But both of us do them remotely, or at the very least hybrid. We have an office here locally that every once in a while I'll go into. And I do marketing, so I run social for
a lot of different businesses, and I'm a wedding photographer. So I can take this that I do in art. And oh, sorry, my mic is sitting down. If that didn't translate at all, but yeah, I don't know if that translated. But I'm a wedding photographer. I work mainly remote. I can pick and choose. He's an engineer, and yeah, that's our life. So we're working and sailing all at once, which is really complicated sometimes.
Melvin's?
So our current situation this time around is a little different. In the past, when we did our Hunter 35, my husband had his own business, so he just took 3 months off, and we had somebody manage the business while we were gone, and that's how we did it those first 2 times. But this time, we just kind of pulled a Hail Mary, and he sold his business that he had for over 25 years. It was a commercial landscaping business. So we had like the city work, the university, the hospital, so like all the big contracts in our town. We lived in a small town in South Georgia, and he sold that, and that's how we got our boat, and that's how we're currently funding this. So we're not currently working at the moment. When we were back at home, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was homeschooling our boys. So they've been homeschooling from birth pretty much, and so that wasn't new for them. So that's what I did when we were at home.
Awesome. Caddy and a cat?
We won the lottery. No, I'm joking. I'm just a little embarrassed to say that we're both in IT after I was late to the meeting, but we're both in IT. We both work remotely. We both work really hard, or at least I do. I don't know. The captain's always working on the boat, actually. You know, there's always something to do on the boat. If you talk about a full-time job, owning a boat is a full-time job. So on top of that, he also does IT, and we have Starlink, and it has been amazing. I've been in meetings while we're traveling into 3-foot waves, and Starlink has worked just amazingly the whole time. So that's how we do it on the boat, and yeah, it works way better than our house, actually. We've had lots of problems. But we're not rich by a long shot. We do enjoy the marina life, and we have priorities in order to make that happen because we are not rich. So we set our priorities, and we work hard to make it happen.
Yep, and I have to second a lot of that. We're not rich either. We didn't win the lotto yet. I hope to. But we, I work part-time. My husband's a credentialed captain, so he's on a trip in the Bahamas right now, sailing on someone else's $1 million boat. So, he's got a pretty good job, and I work part-time from the boat. So that's how we afford it. And again, we just live within our means. So if we know we can't maybe afford the marina next month, we're going to go anchor out, and then we save those marina costs. So anything that where we can save money is huge for us. Okay, so what has been the biggest challenge so far? Because we all know we're going to have lots of different challenges in the future, but what's been the biggest challenge so far? Anna?
Oh, that's a good question. It's changed because we've been doing it for so long. So like in our first year, my biggest challenge was my family was really upset with our choice to go sailing. Mostly because of the kids, they were going to miss their grandkids. So that was the first challenge. Now, they can't be mad for 7 years. So now they've just accepted it. And then, it's been different things like, there are better years for contracting work. So sometimes being able to make enough money, like we actually stayed home last year. We lived aboard the boat in the winter on Cape Cod. Do not recommend that if anybody's thinking about it. It was fine. We're very lucky. Our boat is insulated. We have heating throughout the boat. So the boat was warm, but I kept saying to my husband last winter, I'm like, I did not move onto a sailboat to live here in the winter. Like this is crap. But we had to because we had, invested in the business and X, Y, and Z. And so anyway, it can be some years are harder financially. It can be, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Like we've never had a ton of money sailing, and we've done it on a shoestring budget, and we've done it on like a bigger budget. And some of my best memories of sailing are when we were on a shoestring budget, honestly. Like truly, like we were like, well, I guess we're gonna have to go fishing, or we're eating rice and beans for dinner again. And like those are like, I don't hold those memories any less valuable than the memories of us being able to like go to the grocery store and afford what we need. So yeah, I mean, much like anybody's life, right? Like there are ups and downs. And sometimes it's, you know, you have better years than others, but I still choose this every time, you know? So
That's great.
that's that.
Sailing Summit?
I would say our biggest challenge was, I think, you know, I might have different challenges. I know for me, a big challenge was jumping out from 22 on, you know, a lake to 36 on the ocean. There was a lot different, you know, a lot to learn, and every day was a new learning experience. You know, we have way more systems on here than we do on the 22. So I think for me it was learning every day about how to, you know, fix all these new things for me and research and, you know, get us from place to place safely and effectively.
Yeah, to kind of jump off that, just how much learning there is to do within the first year of owning a boat, especially, you know, yeah, one that you're living on, one with so many systems, and then not only trying to learn the boat, but also go and do like the grand adventure in the Bahamas, all within like the same stretch of so many months. So, because we were like, all right, we're gonna hopefully be in the Bahamas by January, but we didn't get to the Bahamas until April 1st. So just the amount of learning that you have to do right off the bat was just like, wow, it's like a master class in boating and boat ownership and sailing and everything all at once. So yeah.
Awesome. Arbo Venture?
I think that what you said was so valid, because I feel like just going for it sometimes is the best way to learn. We both, I think, we're like sitting here and we're like, what's our biggest challenge? It's all challenging, but there's a ton of stuff. I think that like learning our boat, figuring out things as they go, there's always something that's breaking, always. Like it's endless.
And maintenance is the thing you have to stay on top of, like constantly, or things do break.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a lot of work.
I think that my hardest thing with boat life isn't really about boat life, but we co-parent. So we have the kids half the time and they're with their dad half the time. And I think that that is really challenging just for schedules, because, you know, our big thing is we would love to be in the Bahamas full time for as long as we can be until they kick us out. And right now that's not super possible. So just staying optimistic and aligned with our long-term goals and hopefully getting to the end of the summer with the kids. So yeah, that's just a lot of flexibility in boat life and a lot of like working around schedules.
Sure.
Yeah, that's good. And, you know, there's also, I think just like a house has a lot of different maintenance issues that you have to stay on top of. You don't do those with the boat, but you have separate maintenance issues for a boat. And I will say last year we had this issue with our marina, actually, that randomly the power would just be out at the marina. And it'd be the middle of the summer in Florida, like we need AC, and we would just have to figure out other things, you know. And so I think there's 1,000 like smaller things that I think that we could say were like challenging times, and then we got through it and we're that much, I think, better off for it. But yeah.
Well, great. Tiffany?
So I kind of resonate with what Anna said. My really only con to me for sailing life is the family and friends. People ask me, like, were you trying to escape your life back home? Like, we had a bad situation at home or something. People ask me that sometimes. But actually, we had very good relationships with our family and friends. We saw our family weekly. They lived right up the street from us. So we spent a lot of time together with our family and friends. So that was hard, is leaving them. We do get to video chat since we do have Starlink on board. So like we have a grandbaby. We have 2 more grandbabies on the way. My husband's 18 years older than me. So I know I'm only 35. But yeah, we have 1 grandbaby and 2 more on the way. And so I missed a lot of those things, like the baby shower for the new baby and all those things. So that's hard. They do send me videos and pictures, and my husband and I, so we get to sort of be a part of it. But of course, it's not the same. So that's really my only con to me. I really love this lifestyle. I think most people would probably say that everything you do on a boat is harder, like taking your trash out, dealing with your water, dealing with your power. So there are like inconveniences, but it's such a small trade-off for us, in our opinion, for what we gain, like our family time, our freedom, getting to travel. We're gaining so much that all those small inconveniences are like a drop in the bucket to us. So my main one, I would say, is just probably missing family and friends.
Yeah, a tough one. Patty and the cat.
I actually let the captain answer this one because he does a lot of the pain in the butt stuff, and I don't deal with that. So he said pets were the hardest part. So when we're anchored out, we always have to make sure that we have land to take them to and some place for them to go do their business. And, so it's always, we can't just go off the grid and go float around in the ocean for a little while. We tried to train them to use the pads up front, but it's not going too well. They think it's a place to like rub their heads and play, and and we got real grass, and the cat thought it was like a fun thing to eat. So we're figuring out the pet part, but so far they're comfortable, but it keeps us from going completely off the grid the way we really want to do. Yeah.
That can be a challenge. Yeah. So for us, it's probably maintenance and repairs as well. Time, money, effort, stress that it takes to try to figure out the engine issues. My husband's pretty handy, and I'm a great assistant, so there's that. But at the same time, it's just a lot of what ifs or how or why. So there's the maintenance of a house, again, times 10. It's just completely different. So that's been the biggest challenge for us, at least. Okay, what has been the most memorable experience so far? Anna?
This one's really hard. I mean, because we were kind of chatted before about what the questions were going to be, and I literally was like, I do not know how to answer this question. My life, like sometimes I think about how people will be like, you should write a book, and I'm like, I don't even know where I'd start. Like I don't like it's been so many unbelievable moments. I think for me, like really simple stuff now seems to stick out because I do have the privilege of getting to live this like grand and like see these grand things and do these grand things. So for me, it's like being on the boat. Like when we were even just sailing up here, we just got back a week ago from our sailed from the Bahamas, and we were, probably we sailed from Norfolk, Virginia, straight to Cape Cod. It was like 450 miles. So we were doing like, we were like at sea for 4 days straight. And we were having an overnight, and my oldest daughter woke up in the middle of the night, and she came out, and it was freezing. Like, I don't know why we're up here already, but she came out like bundled up in her clothes, and she curled up on my lap, and for like an hour, we were just like looking at the stars together, like 150 miles offshore at 2 a.m, like, and we were just talking about what all the different stars were. And it's like a moment that I think I'll remember forever, because it's like, what a specific gift to give your child, like it's so niche, like having that memory of like, oh, one time it was 2 a.m. and I couldn't sleep, and I curled up on mom's lap, and we watched the stars offshore together, and it's like, and I could say all the amazing things I've gotten to do, like sail to the Dominican, sail to Puerto Rico, sail to Turks, like all these incredible things. But it's those little moments that, like, because at the end of the day, the reason we went sailing was to be a close family that got to spend this time together. And so it's like, that's what I always aimed for and what I always wanted to have. And things like that, those little moments really mean a lot.
Yes, they do. Summit?
That is a great answer. I don't know how we're supposed to follow that. But, that's a great reminder, though, to just like really be always, chasing like those little moments and appreciative of all the little good moments that, living on a boat and those unique, special moments that can happen. For us, this has been our first season. For us, our most memorable moment so far has just been doing the crossing for our first time after like all of that hard work, and even just questioning like, are we even gonna get there this season? Like, we don't even know. And then finally crossing and seeing like the blue waters in Bimini for the first time, and just like how mind-blowing and amazing that was. And just like that fulfillment that you feel of like, wow, like we really got ourselves here on our own boat. Like we really put in all of that work, and now like, wow, it's just like, you can't even, for us at least, we can't even believe that we had done it, you know? So it was like that sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. So it was really rewarding for us in that way.
That's awesome. Arboventure?
Okay, those are two really good answers, and I'm like, I'm a little tearful from the answers. I'm like, this is so beautiful. It's so special that we can all be here and share these. There's so many good moments. I think like a couple, yes, relatable. Getting to the Bahamas, our first crossing, like that was the most incredible moment ever. Just seeing the water and being like, holy smokes, we got here on a boat. And then as simple as this is, just like loop in the kids, I think one of my personal favorite moments, we were not super far offshore, but 10 miles or so offshore, and we were boating along, and we were all out on the net and the catamaran, and just like hanging out, and this whole pod of dolphins started riding with us. And we were like, we thought they'd go away, but they hung out for like 10, 15 minutes just riding with us, jumping in front of the boat, doing tricks, looking at us, and we were like, this is literally why we do boat life. Like this moment, like this, connecting with the kids and nature and the animals, and like the kids will remember that forever. So it's so special.
Yeah, it's like these moments that for us and for the kids that like we get to experience that like no one else really gets to experience. They're like such cool, like magical moments. And just keeping that in mind when we're out there doing things is just like, this is really the real best travel.
Yeah.
And
it feels like such a privilege and a blessing to be able to do, really.
Stephanie?
I can relate to kind of exactly what everyone else has kind of iterated is, you know, we do get to see a lot of things that like the touristy things, like, you know, the Queen's Bath or the this or that as we're traveling, waterfalls and all those things. But I agree that it's more of the small moments, especially when you have children, and you get to see that like through their eyes and things that they're experiencing. And one of the memories that we just recently had, I shared this on a live recently, but we went and rented a car and drove about an hour and a half to a big grocery store to get provisions. And it became late. It was dark. We got all of our groceries into our dinghy at the dinghy dock, and we start heading back to our boat, and it starts raining. So it's pouring down rain, and it's dark, and we're in our dinghy, and we all just start busting out laughing. It's hilarious. I mean, we just thought it was hilarious. And I turned to my husband, and I said, babe, this is living. And I said, most people would probably be agitated, like my groceries are getting soaked, I'm getting soaked, but all of us are just giggling and laughing. My kids are giggling, and we just thought it was the funniest thing. And I remember after that talking with my husband and just saying that's the special memories that I enjoy making with our boys. It is cool that we get to see like the cool like animals, like we got to see octopus and manta rays, and I love those moments too, but I definitely think it is the little moments. And when you're in this lifestyle, it forces you to slow down. Like you're getting nowhere fast, baby, on a sailboat. I'm just telling you. So you're forced to slow down. You're forced to like enjoy nature and all the things around you. So I think you're more apt to see those small moments that I probably wouldn't have noticed in my regular life on land because I'm busy. I mean, my husband was working all the time, running his own business. I'm schooling the kids, running them around to all their things. So you're just so busy, you don't notice the beautiful flowers or the beautiful scenery around you, even though you may live somewhere that's beautiful. Maybe you have mountains or different things, but you don't look at them. I didn't watch the sunset at home. I definitely did not watch the sunrise at home. But you on a boat, like you watch the sunset, you watch the sunrise. It brings you closer to nature. So I think it is definitely the small moments, and I think everybody here can relate to that. It's the small moments.
For sure. Caddy and the cat?
Oh yeah, I 100% agree on the small moments. And there's something in the Keys called Keys disease. And so I've been evaluating this for a while and trying to figure out what it is exactly. And I've come to the conclusion it's definitely not about drugs or alcohol, although there's a lot of that down there. Sorry if I probably shouldn't have said that. But anyway, I'm so sorry. It's about the interpretation of time when you're on the water. It's so different. And you just feel like you have more time somehow down there, and it's amazing. And my favorite so far, we are just getting started. We went down the ICW after we got the boat fixed up last October, and we left out of Stuart, Florida. And we went all the way down the Keys, and we sailed it in the ocean for the first time out of Biscayne Bay, which was amazing. But my very favorite time was when we went off grid for the first time for a couple weeks. And I was waking up in the morning, and I decided to go live just to wake up and see the sunrise, and before I walked out of the cabin. And I walked out, and there's this gorgeous sunrise, and I'm looking out, and then all of a sudden, just like everyone else, the dolphin You know, they start going by, and I'm like, it's just when I'm like a little kid every time I see dolphin. It's amazing to me every single time. It never gets old. Turtles, dolphins, any kind of fish. You know, I still haven't seen an octopus yet, and I'm dying to see an octopus. But you guys are right. It's about the small moments and what you get to experience. But what I really enjoy about it is how it slows down time, and you just feel like you have more time to do things, and you can enjoy life more because you have more time.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, being a parent too, it was definitely seeing our kiddo over those 5 years of living on the boat, from going to very reluctant, even more reluctant than me, to go live on a boat. I mean, he didn't want to do anything. And so it was really hard to encourage him. Hey, we had to force him. I'm like, hey, we are going snorkeling. Hey, we are going to dinghy to this island and go hiking. So once he finally got into that mix, you guys, does that sound familiar? When we finally got into that of you are going to do this, and he was the one leading the charge. He's like, hey, can we go spearfishing? Hey, can we go check that island out? Hey, can we go snorkeling at that wreck? I'm like, yes, I am so tired, and we've been sailing for 12 hours, but yes, let's go do that. So to see him, and now in his teenage years, you know, like I said, he's almost 18. He's not joining the Navy or the Coast Guard, which I wish he was. He's going to go Army. But for him to be wanting to take captain's courses and working at a marina and washing boats and like being in the lifestyle that we've raised him to be now, that's been a very proud mommy moment for me. So it's definitely those moments with my kiddo and us coming closer as a family for sure. We would always kind of do our own separate things in Colorado. We'd go to work, he'd go to school, we'd all come back, eat dinner, watch our TV shows or whatever, go to bed. So it was kind of just that we got out of that routine. So it was very special to break that lifestyle up. Okay, next question is, what is the best part? We've kind of covered some of these. What is the best part and the hardest part of boat life? Okay, Anna.
Okay, the best part of boat life for me is, especially when we're away from home and we're really sailing, the best part is the amount of time it's like real quality time as a family. And also like we really learn like problem solving skills as a family out here. Like it's like, you know, we have a big boat, but we only have so much space, you know? So it's like the kids need to learn like, okay, you're irritated with each other. What steps do you take to handle that? You know what I mean? And like, and my husband and I mean, man's the love of my life, but sometimes I'm like, I need you out of my energy. Like, you know, and it's like, how do you figure that out and still remain loving, kind, and thoughtful? You know, it's that, like, I think that's a huge life skill that often is overlooked, honestly. Like, it's nice to be able to do that. And then, you know, I think that, I agree with what Tiffany said. Like, I struggle with missing my friends quite a bit. I'm very lucky that I have like a very close community on Cape Cod of really like tight knit people. My kids too, like they have like a really close community. So, you know, in some ways I feel like so lucky that we stumbled into this like pattern of life that we have, where we like get to travel for 6 months and then get to be home for 6 months, because it gives us this like ability to like form deep relationships and deep friendships. And also, you know, what's the saying, like distance makes the heart grow fonder. It's like, I'm like, by the time it's time to go, I'm like, see you guys. And then by like 6 months in, I'm like, I miss you so much. And all, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's important to have that duality, you know, and it really puts life into perspective. And honestly, for me too, like my kids learning this kind of life and these kind of lessons, sometimes I'm like, I can't imagine learning this when I was 11. You know, like what is, like, it's crazy to think that we're teaching these problem solving skills to these children at 11. I'm in my 30s and I'm trying to learn these things. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, all in all, like sometimes, yeah, the gifts of what the positives and the negatives are, I love the life lessons in it all. So yeah.
Summit?
Yeah, I'd say that's a really great point. I think boat life gives you this huge like freedom, and which has its own responsibility. I think what's one of the best parts, like the freedom that you have. You really can. You have you and your boat, and you can go wherever you want. And I think that's one of the best parts. Is not a lot of other things in life that gives you that much freedom. And of course, I think that also has a lot of responsibility, where it is, you and your boat out there. So you gotta make sure that everything works. Everything, you gotta be smart. There's gonna be stressful times. We're out on the water, and not every moment out in the water is super peaceful, calm, and sometimes you're down, eyes on the anchor alarm.
Yeah.
I do. So I think some of the best moments are those moments of peace and tranquility, and when you find a spot that not a lot of people are at, or
Being fully under sail.
yeah, being fully under sail, and you're just like, wow, this is such a unique perspective that we have here, and that's a lot to be grateful for. And of course, the trade-offs for those can be some of the worst moments when you're like, shoot, our raw water pump on our engine needs to be rebuilt. That sucks. Or, there's a big storm and you're kind of stressed out like that. I'd say for probably what the best and worst times for us are.
Gotcha. Thank you. Oh, somebody's got a train. Our Boventure?
Yeah, that's Stuart. There's trains everywhere in Stuart. Sorry about that.
We hear them too. It's yeah. Do you want to answer that, Ellie? You're the hardest and the best part of boat life. Oh, okay. Well, I think what do you think?
So I would say kind of to Sailing Summit's point, like there's a freedom that comes with boating, and I think especially, and we really discovered this first time we went to the Bahamas, and that was just like you're really off grid. And it's like the Wild West. It feels like you can pull up anchor and go wherever you want to go, whenever you want to go there, and it's not like anyone's necessarily tracking you or expecting you to be at some place at some time most of the time. It's just like, you blow the direction of the wind, and if there's winds, yeah. Or maybe really kind of like perpendicular to the wind. Yeah. But that does come with a lot of responsibility. You got to really stay on top of your stuff and make sure that if you're having a problem that you catch it early and fix it.
Yeah. We had an issue the other day where we hooked up water to be continuous to the boat when we are at the marina.
For water.
And it was a perfect storm of events where our engine ended up flooding, so it was completely underwater. So it's just like random things that happened, and just okay, thank goodness. But it's like, you just gotta kind of like ride with everything, as weird as that is. And I think the best part is, for me, is just like the moments where you get to be, your engines are off, you're fully under sail, and there's no sound. It's just like you and the ocean and the family.
Just the whooshing of the water under the boat.
And the dog barking and all the things. But there's not a car horn. You're not in the everyday like anxiety inducing, I don't want to be so granola, but off grid, you can just be with yourself and your family. There's not all this external stimulation.
Awesome. Tiffany?
Yeah, I agree that the best part of this lifestyle to me are the challenges, because that can be positive or negative. So there are a lot of challenges, you're learning every single day out here. We just met some people who are just finishing a circumnavigation. They were hitting Cuba, and that would be their circumnavigation. They were going to keep going. But it was so fun talking to them, because even though they had gone around the whole world, they were talking about how every time they go somewhere new, every time that, another week or month passed, they were learning new things, having new challenges. And sometimes those challenges can be positive. It's fun to learn new things and feel that accomplishment. I think like Will or Leanna was saying, when you first cross over the Gulf Stream, or you first do an overnight sail, or whatever your first are, there's always going to be more challenges and learning that you can do. And I think that can be a blessing and beautiful learning, but also can be, like Will said, kind of like the downside of it. Things are always breaking. You can't get the parts you need if you're in a remote area. Our friends had to sit there for 5 weeks in Georgetown waiting on a part. So like there is a lot of things like that, part of the challenges that can be like difficult and kind of frustrating. But then there's a beautiful part of that too, where you're learning, you're growing, and you're challenged all the time. And I think that's what I really like about this lifestyle. Because at home, I feel like driving to Walmart, taking my kids. I'm not learning nothing. I feel like this lifestyle, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm forced to. Like, you can't live this lifestyle and not grow and learn. It's impossible. I mean, even if you're just sitting on anchor, I don't care. You are learning something because something is breaking, and you're just having new experiences. And that's probably one of the best parts for me, and can be the worst.
Yes, ma'am. Patty and the cat?
I think the best part for me is like waking up on the water off grid, like to my own island or something in this beautiful clear water. And like, that's the best part for me. And the captain, what's your best part?
Yeah, just being able to keep the conveniences, the comforts coming, the fresh water, power, the internet, keeping everything going.
Yeah, well, off grid.
Keeping everything comfortable, because if it's not comfortable, it's not fun.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, I have unlimited hot water if anybody needs notes for later. That was one of my conditions of going off grid. So he makes it like home for me.
Once you realize you're not in control, everything, you just have to prepare for everything.
That's true. And I love the spontaneity of boating because I love change. So for me, there's constantly something that you don't expect, like everyone says. We woke up at 5 a.m, hitting the bottom once in a area that was supposed to be 8 feet deep, and we only draw 2 feet 10 inches. So it's fun things like that keep you on your toes, and like you said, like everyone else said, it keeps you learning. And I don't know, it does make it memorable though, because you come out of those with stories and laughing later, and yeah, you have these great stories. And I don't know, but I really like owning my own islands the most.
You're on your own island. That leads me to another surprise question. Show of hands, who here has run aground before?
We got it.
Like multiple hands
We
in
have
the same box.
Don't worry, Leanna, you will.
You're not a
Sailing
sailor
of
until
same.
you run aground.
Yeah, you ain't been around if you ain't been aground. We ran aground. We purposely accidentally ran aground to get to Harbor Island in Eleuthera. My husband's like, listen, we're going to hit the ground. It's fine. I'm like, all right.
It's fine. Everything's
We always
fine.
say, we're cleaning the bottom of the boat. It's okay.
Okay, we're gonna do kind of lightning round for this last two questions, and then I wanted to keep it about an hour and a half. So as soon as we finish these last two questions, we'll do some Q&A from the chat, and I'll try to scroll back as far as possible to start with some questions we haven't answered. So lightning round, just real quick answer. Sorry, I keep forgetting to answer my own damn questions. For the best part for us were the new sites. So again, the freedom, going around everywhere, changing up our backyard every day. And the new adventures that every day would bring. Maybe it's a dinghy ride to go hiking, or a dinghy ride to town and walk around a brand new town you've never been in. So that freedom. And the hardest part for me is not being around my family. So they're all the way back in Colorado. Some of them are moving to Australia. I don't know when the next chance I'll get to see them. Maybe I'll sail over there, but that's a long way from Florida. Okay, so lightning round. What is one thing you want people to know who might be interested in this lifestyle? Anna?
Keep it flexible, and my husband and I always say that the most dangerous thing a sailor can have is a plan. So just like keep it flexible and know that as long as you're keep going with the flow and having fun and keeping everyone safe, it's all going to work out.
Perfect. Summit?
Yeah, I would say being prepared to have some of your highest highs, but also some of your lowest lows. I think one of the reasons why you grow so much during and doing this lifestyle, just because it stretches you to like your max and your lowest point. So just being ready for everything it's going to throw at you.
Mm-hmm. Arbo Venture?
I think that.
No, you got it.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, no worries. What is one thing you want people to know who might be considering this lifestyle?
Oh. Didn't answer that?
probably that, like, one thing you would want to know is that, like, you need to be able to, like, make it easy to get rid of stuff and be flexible because, like, there's not that much room, and there can always be the most randomest things, so you're going to have to be someone who can be flexible at time and can, like, make sure you can do it even if
It's a great answer. Melvin's?
My advice would be do it now and don't wait, because there's never going to be a perfect time. If you think once I get this, this, and this all lined up and squared away, and I check all these things off a box, then I'll be prepared to go. The boxes are always going to be needing to be checked off. It's never going to be a perfect time. We all know that life be lifing, okay? Life is not going to stop throwing things at you, messing up, derailing you from the path you thought was going to happen or whatever. You just got to let all that stuff go and just go now. Particularly one of the reasons why we decided we were going full time and we were just going to Hail Mary it. We lost a lot of family and friends in a short amount of time from just cancer, car accidents, people we were close to. And it just reminded us that you don't know when your last day here is. And so if we just keep putting things off to tomorrow, next year, maybe in the future, then you're never going to get there. So do it now.
Do it now. Caddy and the cat?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely do it now. My husband was definitely seasoned. He grew up on a boat, so he knew a lot of, he knows everything that I don't know, so I felt a little safe to do it. But I would say definitely safety first. Make sure you have all the safety features on your boat before you head out anywhere. That's the most important thing. You know, make sure you have a way to get off your boat if something happens and to contact somebody if that happens. I would think safety first.
I like that answer. For me, I'd say it helps if you're handy. You know, if you can turn a wrench and know what a crescent wrench or something is, like that definitely helps to be handy. If not, watch a lot of YouTube University. There's tons of sailing channels out there. Many of these folks are on YouTube as well, so learn that way. Be open-minded. I'm a real control freak, so things aren't always going to go your way. Just be open-minded and kind of go with the flow, and then don't be afraid to try new things. I had a lot of fears before coming on this adventure, and I've slowly checked them off the list of things I fear now just because I've been immersed and I've tried new things. So that's my advice. Okay, lightning round question. How can people support you and keep up with your travels?
You can follow me on TikTok. I also have a YouTube channel that has like 45 videos of our whole beginning process of this. So like from when my daughter was 18 months old, when we first moved aboard, she's almost 8 now. And I'm restarting to post videos on YouTube. I stopped for a while because they take a lot of work to post YouTube videos. It's a whole different world, but I'm starting that back up. And yeah, if you follow me on TikTok or subscribe to my lives or whatever, I don't really know how TikTok works, but I'm just having a good time. So
you're doing great. Summit?
Yeah, you can find us on TikTok, and also we're on Instagram with that Sailing Summit.
Awesome. Arbo Venture?
We have our, first off, thank you, and we have our TikTok, and then we also have a YouTube channel. We only have one video so far, but we did film a lot of content over the last year, so we'll be posting that soon. And as Ellie would say, like and subscribe. She's always like and subscribe. So
that's awesome. Great spokesperson. Melvin's?
So of course we have TikTok, so you can follow us on there. We do lives almost daily. I try to do it pretty much every day. We do have subscriptions on there if you choose to support it that way. I also have Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, but I put most of my efforts into TikTok. I'm new here. We've been on here about nine weeks or so. Actually, Anna is the one who encouraged and told us about TikTok, and I was like, am I too old for TikTok? And she was like, no. I always thought TikTok was like Snapchat, y'all. I'm not kidding. And I was like, I thought Snapchat and TikTok were like the young people, and I was like, they're gonna think I'm old. I'm 35 years old. But then Anna was like, no. And so I got on there, and I really, really enjoyed it. And TikTok lives have been so much fun for me. It's easy to build community, and I was doing lives on Facebook, and it's so much better over here. I love it.
Awesome. Caddy and the cat?
We're only on TikTok, and we just started. So I actually was just playing around and started going live when we hit the water. So anytime we're having an adventure, I take you guys along. So yeah, you can follow us on TikTok. We don't have anything on YouTube yet, but I haven't started really getting into videos. I have so many of them, like the dolphins waking up that morning. It's actually on my TikTok already. You can view it there. But yeah, we might be venturing out into other places as well. But right now, we just focus on TikTok.
Awesome. All right. For us, obviously TikTok. You can subscribe to us if you want or like. We have a website also. It's destinationadrift.com. Patreon, YouTube, and I really have too much content to catch up on from the Bahamas and the Keys, but I'm working on it. And then all of the social media platforms. It's not under my name. It's actually Destination Adrift, but you can find that in my bio. All right, cool, guys. So I'm going to scroll through here and see if I see a couple of comments. If you guys want to, you can go ahead and drop some comments in. We're going to try to keep up. And then this is kind of just whoever wants to answer can answer. So let's see here. Car asks, please talk about off-grid systems. Does anybody want to address an off-grid systems on your boat?
You want to address the off-grid system, Mike?
Ours?
Yeah.
So we outfitted, we spent, 6 months putting, we just have some solar panels. We got about 1,200 to 1,300 of bifacial solar, 900 amp hours of lithium batteries, and it will keep our batteries good, maybe around 80% if the sun's out, indefinitely. It'll keep our batteries charged. But if we get a few cloudy days, we just have a backup suitcase generator to kind of just charge the batteries in a few hours.
Okay.
And the water maker runs off of the solar too, makes about 6 gallons an hour.
Hot water heater.
And then it's a tankless propane water heater.
That's how I have unlimited hot water.
So, but you could outdo the water maker at some point, but you could.
I haven't had that problem yet.
Yeah, you could take a really long shower. Yeah, so we have like propane.
What's the longest we've been off the grid so far?
Like 2 weeks.
I think it was 14 days, right? It was 14 days was the longest we've been off the grid.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid. But, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's done bigger and better things, sailing the islands and stuff when he was a kid.
my first time
I'm
sleeping
easing
on
into
land
it.
was 18. When I was 18.
That's awesome. Okay, ladder.
We live.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go for it. It's okay. I was just gonna say we're fully off grid. We don't stay at marinas ever, just because we can't afford it, really. And we just have solar, and we also have we have a generator as well that we run only when we have a washing machine on board. So we'll use our generator when we're running our washing machine. But we find that as long as we have enough solar, for the most part, we don't have to run our generator. But there's plenty of solar out here. You're not contending with any shade, you don't got any trees to watch out for. So
I noticed that you get more power and cleaner, shinier water from the bifacials rather than darker, yucky water.
We absolutely have much better solar power in the Bahamas than we do on Cape Cod. And the water in the Cape is beautiful and not like dirty or anything, but it's just darker. So
and the water maker filters don't get dirty as fast over there. You got clearer water.
Okay, we've got another question from Ladder 54. Whoever wants to jump in on this one. What is a good budget for boat life?
I would say that question is like that's probably one of our number one questions is like, how much do you guys spend? And for me, I think that's an almost impossible question because we have done it on almost nothing. And we've also done it on a higher amount of money. It's a matter of what you're willing to like sacrifice on. Our first 3 years sailing, we didn't go out to eat one time. We did not do that. And then, do you have kids? Do you have pets? Like, even your entry fees in and out of other countries can be more or less depending how many people are on board. If you have animals on board, that's a hard question. I mean, I can say that we spend, when we're actively sailing, we spend between like $35,000 and $5,000 a month, between food, maintenance, fuel, supplies. That's how much we try to save up to leave with. We've also done it on like $1,500 a month. Like we've done it all. It's just, you can make anything work, truly. Yeah, it's helpful to have a handy guy or girl involved in the situation.
I feel like there's kind of a ratio between like cost and comfort. So if you're willing to sacrifice some comforts, and you can do it on a lower cost, and they kind of go hand in hand. So
it's priorities, really. You set your priorities of what's most important to you. Like we use barely any gas. We have a 30 horsepower Suzuki engine that powers our catamaran, and it's an outboard. So we don't have that fuel cost. So the marina cost is kind of where we, where it goes up for us.
As long as you don't have a big power boat that costs $10,000 to fill up every time, you're good.
Yeah, you just have to decide your priorities, and then this marina charges by the foot, and I think most marinas charge by the foot, and not everyone stays all the time at marina. Like we anchor out a lot, but it's an option where you can go and do laundry if you don't have washer and dryer on board and things like that.
I think another thought with the budget thing is that, ultimately, sailing life is more affordable than regular living life on land. And I say that because we really we're really lucky to live a great lifestyle, but when we're out sailing and we spend, and we'll stock up on provisions and everything else, but we spend significantly less than when we are anchored at a marina, because you're going out, you're spending things, you're doing things, and I feel like overall,
there's no grocery stores in the ocean.
There's no Target, so I think that living on a boat in general makes you a minimalist and makes you naturally more budget aware.
Yes. Great answers. Kat and Jewel Man, I see your second question. I've got your question next, Jewel Man. Kat asked, we're going to show on our hands how many years you've been living on your boat. So she wants to know the most time on the boat to the newest person. So this is how many years I've been living on my boat. How many years, or
I think
we're 1, 7, 1.
Yeah, we're 1, 2, but
so there's your newbies. Summit, Adventures, Patty. And
but not really. My husband did it a lot when he was
That's
there.
true.
Yeah.
So Julian asks, do you find it difficult to work remotely? So those of you that work remotely, Arbo Venture, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. Well, we stay a lot of the time in Florida, but we were able to get Starlink, and I was a little bit nervous about how Starlink was going to work in the Bahamas. I have meetings a lot of the time, some days all day long. Starlink is amazing, and I had zero issues with it. So working remote is great. And when we were in the Bahamas, we're both working, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I could be working at the marina or in an office, or I could be working outside on the catamaran in the Bahamas. So if you have to work, like most of us do, then, it's not a bad place to work out on the sailboat.
Yeah, I will say when we're actively sailing down the ICW, it's a little bit challenging to work because, you're looking out for other boats and you're kind of having to zigzag around sandbars and stuff. So I would say maybe on active sailing days, I'm not quite as efficient at work. But, if you have something really big, a big meeting or something you really need 100% focus for, you throw the anchor out, you sit there and you do your work, and then you pull it in and you keep going.
Yeah, Ellie wanted to say.
Okay, I don't work, but I do have, schoolwork. And I feel like whenever we take out the boat on the weekends, I can do extra schoolwork. And I feel like my mom said, it's like you can be working in an office or from your school, just at the marina, or taking it out somewhere. And I feel like taking it out somewhere can be good.
Perfect. Love it. Schoolwork is another issue. Yep, that's true. Adri asks, what classes or courses do you recommend prior to going sailing? Did anyone take classes? I took ASA 101 and 103. Did anyone else take any classes?
We did a Coast Guard training class because my husband was a captain of a fishing boat before we left. So he had to do it every 6 months. So on his last 6-month one, he's like, you come with me. And then besides that, it was just the class of life, just going out there and doing it.
Yeah, I would also say
captain's license, but it expired after 5 years and he didn't renew it. So he's done that, but we haven't taken ASA or anything. And We just self-learned, and I feel like that's really the best way, in my opinion, because I think a lot of people get stuck with they can't afford the ASA classes, and I always tell everybody, if you can afford it, I think it's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I know a lot of people have taken them, and they're really great, but don't let it stop you from living the lifestyle if you can't afford to take the ASA classes, because they can be kind of costly, and you can learn a lot by getting on a boat with somebody who knows things, and you can learn a lot just getting out on the lake and things like that. So we really like the hands-on experience, but I don't think there's anything wrong with taking classes.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of get analysis paralysis and say, well, I got to wait for this, I got to wait for this, I got to do all these things before I can take the leap. And it's like, no, our advice would be take the leap. You know, all that stuff you figure out, right? So don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
And we, you know, my husband captained a boat for a long time, so he had seen everything, which was helpful. Well, he had thought he had seen everything, but there's a whole new world when it comes to sailing. It's like, I'll never forget the first time that we were like, you know, now I understand the saying when sailors say, if you think you need to reef, you should have already reefed your boat. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'll never forget the first time. I'm like, oh shit, we're about to get knocked down. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's like, for me, that's how you learn your boat, and every boat's different. So it's you can read all the user manuals you want, but until you know what your boat feels like in 25 knots of wind off the coast of, you know, whatever, you're not going to really know what to do. Or I guess I'll speak for myself. I wouldn't have known.
And I'll throw in two class advices. If you or any veterans you know want to learn how to sail for free or get your captain's license for free, you can actually go to Veteran Sailing. They're in the Florida Keys, Key Largo area, I believe. Completely free classes, ASA 101 and 103. And then Chapman School of Seamanship here in Stuart, Florida. You can get anything from a deckhand to a 6-pack up to a 100-ton captain's license here. And that for veterans, that's free. So you can use your GI Bill to get that. So just want to throw that out there too. Okay.
Precautions too when you get started. Like if you don't know your boat yet, like the captain said, it's all about knowing your boat. But what we did is we're sticking close to shore as we get to know our boat, so that, you know, if anything happens, at least you can get back. So just do it, but then do it safely.
Yeah. Real
okay,
quick,
Irene wants to know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Just real quick, I just want to add, like, I think it's, you know, like a minimum. I think it's a really great idea. There's a lot of sailors out there that have a wealth of information and would be 100% willing to take you out on their boat. So I think at a minimum, like, go to your local marina, go to like a yacht club or something, find some sailors, you know, and just start chatting with them. And chances are they'll be like, I'm going on a sail this day. You want to come? And you can learn so much from some of these guys, especially if you're doing cruisers, like flying cruisers. I think, you know, racing, finding people who race also have a really wealth of knowledge when it comes to just making your boat go as fast as you can make it. So I definitely back the, you know,
Yeah, I agree with that too. That's how we got started too. We had a sailing mentor. Irene wants to know what you guys do if a hurricane is coming.
Can you say that one more time? I didn't hear you with the...
Sorry, hitting goals over here. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Irene wants to know, what do you do when a hurricane is coming? And that anybody can jump in.
We did have a hurricane. And luckily, like, we're on the east coast of Florida. And so, honestly, like, so we just tied the boat down really good. Honestly, like Will was saying, there are so many people in the sailing community who are helpful, and we had great boat neighbors who helped us secure it, and that was it. And yeah, the marinas are pretty, especially on the east side of Florida, the hurricanes don't hurt as much because marinas are pretty protected.
Yeah, there's a lot of protected marinas, so just make sure that you're, you know, at least, I mean, some people think we're off the middle of the river and we have a lot of anchor line and multiple anchors. But what we've always done is we just put it into a really protected marina, and you double line everything. You know, you get it really secured in there. And then usually, if it's a really bad storm, we'll go and stay with family or friends. But most storms, it's not so bad.
We will actually be going down to like Grenada, Trinidad area, so that's where we'll be sticking out for hurricane season this year.
Yeah, we've experienced quite a few bad storms on this boat. We run away from the worst of hurricane season. That's why we go north. We also are super lucky. We have a shoal draft boat, so we can fit into some pretty wild areas that people are like, what is this boat that has this like steel 65-foot boat doing in this space? Because it doesn't look like it should be able to fit there. But we have a hurricane hole that we tuck our boat into. So it's like a tiny little pond surrounded on all sides by land that we can get ourselves into, that we, while we're up here for hurricane season, we would go into if we need to. And if it's a bad storm, like we had a Category 1 hit, or a Category 2 hit a few years ago. The kids and I were off the boat. George stayed aboard just to make sure that, like, if anything, whatever. But anything more than a Category 2, whatever happens to the boat happens to the boat. And, the boat can always be replaced, the people can't. So we've had to hop off the boat 3 times in 7 years for hurricanes. And luckily, this boat was, whatever. I won't get into that story, but yeah.
We were here for Helene, and at this marina actually, and they required us to leave because they're not protected. But we had a friend who lives like right around the corner up in the mangroves, and because we only draw 2 feet 10 inches, we were able to pull on the other side of his boat. So we hid up in there and tied off to the mangroves, and that was our first storm. We were not on the boat. We left the boat, and that's
worked the whole time with the camera.
Oh yeah, we had a camera and Starlink. We never lost Starlink. We were able to keep an eye on our boat, so that was good. But that was our first hurricane, and our current marina where we have it now allows us to stay, so we would stay.
I think we all need paid promotions for Starlink.
I know, right?
We get a free like year of Starlink. That'd be just amazing. So I think for us, we have anchored out twice. We anchored out in Ian, and then Nicole. We saw 70-mile-per-hour winds with Ian, and then 50-mile-per-hour with Nicole. And it was still pretty north and west of us, but we were still getting like that bottom spin from the hurricane. So that happened for us. Milton was actually a lot closer for us. We stayed in this marina. They don't kick us out. So we stayed in Milton. We anchored ourselves, not anchored, but tied off our boat kind of in the center of the slip and just rode out the wind. We tie all of our sails down. We take the bimini down. Anything that can catch wind, the paddleboard comes off. Everything gets stowed. And the scariest part for us was for Milton. We had 19 tornadoes touch down in our county alone. One was a water spout that went right behind us up the ICW. I'm hiding in the boat with my son, or with my dog, and my son and husband are running towards the water spout to take video. So that was the scariest thing for me. So we've decided if it's a Cat 3 or higher, we're going to either A, try to move the boat. If we can't move it fast enough with a week's notice or a couple days notice, we're going to leave the boat and evacuate. So Cat 3 and higher direct hit for us. So Beachgoer asks, is anyone able to grow, and Samantha, I do see your question, I'm getting to it. Are you guys able to grow veggies and fruits on the boat?
We sprout. We grow sprouts on the boat because that is like an indoor thing that we can do. So we grow like alfalfa sprouts, broccoli sprouts, and munching sprouts in mason jars. And that was like, that gets us through when we're in, like some remote areas, it's like, I feel like we're eating lots of like beans and rice. And then it's like, oh, well, I can at least put alfalfa sprouts on top of it. We've grown some like herbs, honestly. Like I have a garden at home, like we have a garden at a friend's house that we tend to. So I have a green thumb. Not on a boat though. I have killed many, many plants on this sailboat. So I just think it's too exposed to the elements on board a boat. There's just like you're in the wind, you're in the salt water, you're in spray. Like, I mean, maybe it's just me. I just haven't had any luck growing on the boat.
It's not just you. My kids bought at a little market somewhere. I think we were in the Bahamas, and it was a little Venus flytrap, and they thought it was cool. So I was like, okay, science time, with homeschool. So I bought it for them. Yeah, that thing died within like a week. It got hit by salt water, and it was too windy. And I kept telling them, make sure you bring it downstairs. Of course, we didn't. So it died.
This is one of our where I really, really want a garden. It's the one thing that I'm really missing from boat life. And so Dale is going to help me figure out how to make a
garden that works on a sailboat. Maybe it's not possible, but I think it could be. So I'll keep you posted if I find.
Has anyone tried the hydroponics, like the garden towers? Have you seen those? Has anyone had the room to try that?
I haven't tried it on a boat, but my sister-in-law, she has one. She said it works really good.
It's awesome. We've got some general house plants. I've got a little Christmas cactus behind me. We have some orchids outside, and our outdoor plants, they do just fine. The orchids are amazing. They'll sprout whenever or bloom whenever they feel like it. So we have had success with that, but not anything edible. So anyone else?
Yeah, we had a mint plant because we had one of our portholes was leaking. So we were like, obviously the solution to this is to put a plant under it. So I like strapped down a mint plant and it did pretty good. And then it started to slowly die. So I did some research like, all right, how do you keep a mint plant from dying? And it said like harvest it more often. So I like harvested all of the leaves off of it. And then the next day it was like totally dead. So maybe we'll try again in the future.
Try it best.
This question is probably specifically for Caddy and the cat. Car wants to know kitty litter. Any tips and tricks on how to have that on a boat?
Oh yeah, we use the tidy the tidy cat pellets. It's not litter, so it doesn't get all over your boat. And then actually it goes the number ones go through the pellets and it collects on a pad, and then you get rid of the pad. So there's never anything sitting in the box ever. It's just, and the pad is in this area that doesn't smell. And if it does smell, you just get rid of it and put a new one in. You know, and it's been great for the boat. No tracking of litter, nothing like that.
That's awesome. Samantha asks, have you ever run into pirates?
This is my number one question.
Yes.
I swear to you. This, pirates and sharks. Those are, and I guess I get it, but, my kids are like, we're the pirates. What do you mean? We've never, I mean, to be fair, we don't sail in pirate waters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been in the Dominican and we've had people come up to our boat and like ask for food and stuff, but like never has anyone like pirated our boat before, you know? Plus our boat, to be honest, our boat doesn't really look like something you would be like, those people, they're the ones that probably have the stuff. So
I have a very funny story about pirates. So it was our first time going to the Bahamas. It was in the cruiser, the power boat. And I was like a little bit naive. That was my first time leaving the country. And so I was like a little bit like, you know, all of our family and friends were like, be careful of pirates, you know, and we're like, okay. And so we went over and we had a boat in like the Bahama Bank start approaching us at nighttime with no lights on. And they were getting pretty close, and I was like, it's pirates. So we ran downstairs, and we were like, how do we handle this? And then the boat floated away. And then after we cruised the Bahamas, we're like, that was ridiculous. But it definitely did.
It reminds me of the first year we went to go sailing in the Bahamas, like 7 years ago. All of my family and friends were like, the Bahamas is a red zone. They're saying, stay away from the Bahamas. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to get killed. They're going to kidnap our kids. Like, I was so scared. I go over, we check in Bimini. I go to the grocery store. The woman at the grocery store was like, the kids can stay up at the front while you grocery shop. We'll like hang out with the kids. And she could tell that I was like a little nervous. And she said, baby, I don't want your kids. I have my own. And I was like, well, I feel dumb and this is embarrassing. And honestly, I always say that the place I've felt the most unsafe in my cruising life is in Florida. Yeah. Like I've had some scary situations in Florida. Not one time have I been scared in the Bahamas. So, I mean, there's beautiful parts of Florida too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Florida people are unhinged.
Yeah, I've never had experience in Florida.
Go ahead, Patty.
The only pirate I've seen is on TikTok. That guy in the kayak dresses up as a pirate every once in a while. Do you guys?
Oh,
that's the
Eric.
only pirate.
Yeah.
That is the only pirate
That's awesome.
I've seen, luckily. But you know, we don't. We haven't really gone anywhere, I guess, yet where we would be affected by that. And we've never had any problem at our marinas. Our marinas have been great. We've never been approached while we were out off the grid either. One night I woke up at 2 a.m. to a loud noise, and I go outside, and we were the only boat when we went to bed, and there's some locals down on the Keys doing bully netting. That's lobstering at night. And they were really close to our boat. And that was the only time that I was just like, okay. But besides that, we've felt really safe the entire time.
That's awesome.
When we were in the Bahamas this past year, there was a ship there, and it caught everybody's attention because it was this like huge steel boat, and it looked like a pirate ship, and like the boat was just like covered with stuff all over it, and all the sides, like it was a steel boat, so it was like really needed a paint job, and like it looked really rusty. And we were hearing all these rumors that they were pirates, and then we met the guys at Pete's Pub in Little Harbor in the Abacos. They were actually doing humanitarian aid, and they were running aid to Haiti. And I'm like, yeah. So they were like collecting stuff to bring to Haitians down in Haiti. I'm like, man, people will really weave a story.
Different type of pirating. Christina asks, how do your animals eat and go to the bathroom? So those of you that have animals.
We have to separate ours. We have 3, and we're only on a 30-foot catamaran, so it is tight. So the caddy actually eats up on the table, and she's on meds twice a day, so I have to make sure she gets her meds. And then Copper, our hound dog, we lock him outside, and he eats outside. And then Lexi, our little terrier, she eats inside because he'll just wolf down her food. They're not aggressive or anything. It's just the hound can't get enough, so we have to separate all of them.
Yeah, Bella, I mean, we take enough dog food, so we provision for ourselves. So if we know we're going to be gone a certain amount of time and away from any sort of store, we'll provision enough food for her. We have to regulate how much she eats because she'll just eat all day. So it lasts a really long time if we get a 40-pound bag of dog food, and we have a watertight container that we keep that food in, so it stays fresh the entire time we feed it to her. And then for the bathroom, if we're near land, we will take her to shore. She prefers that and appreciates that. But if not, she is trained to go on our trampoline up front, and we just watch her.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I know. Keep trying,
How did
girl.
you do it? You got to give me some tips.
I'll give you a tip after this. I know how to do it. I'll share it with you.
Yeah, we for the bathroom, we got a grass mat that we put on the trampoline. So when we're off, when we're on ground, he goes potty in the grass. And when we're on the boat, we taught him to go potty on the grass mat on the trampoline.
However, I would recommend zip tying your turf mat because we've had about 4 of them blow off.
And sometimes zip ties don't work either.
Yeah. So it's a challenge. He's a pup. We got him as a puppy, so boat life is the only thing he knows. So it has definitely been a little bit more challenging to potty train a dog / potty train a dog on a boat at the same time. It's finally paying off.
Yeah, he loves it.
Awesome. Okay, it looks like we've got about 3 more questions. We'll try to go through one more. If you guys want to hang out and keep answering them, that's fine. I'll probably cut it at like 3:40, but if you guys want to leave at any time, that's totally fine. Jewelman asks, how did your kids react to leaving friends and family?
My kids, we moved aboard when my kids were young. Like my youngest daughter was 18 months. My oldest daughter was 4. So they were just like kind of like along for the ride, what they didn't really have an opinion, I guess. And, as they've gotten older, they have been like, oh, well, we miss, Amma and Appa, their grandparents, or we miss whatever. But we do lots of check-ins, like, you guys are like happy, like you like this life, and they will attest up and down, back and forth that they would not want to live, in a house yet again, or they love sailing and they can never imagine their life not on a sailboat. And I do think it's almost like getting a puppy for a live aboard, like as a dog, right? It's like, in a way, it's like really lucky that like we had the kids aboard so young, because it's like people ask me all the time, like, oh, well, do you think your kids feel like they're missing out? And I'm like, they don't have anything to compare it to. Like, I don't know what to say. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like they're always happy to go sailing. they're always ready to go for a sail. And I feel very lucky about that, for sure.
Ours is very similar because even though we've been on this boat since December, my kids, when they were 2 and 4, we did several months in the Bahamas. Then a year later, we went again and did like 3 months in the Bahamas when they were 3 and 6. And then, so it's not like it was new to them. And then we also had a boat in Panama City and stuff. So they've always grown up just being on the boat. They were also homeschooled from the very beginning. So it wasn't like I took them out of their school setting. And like with homeschool, you know, yeah, of course we had play dates and we had field trips we did with other people and things like that. But they weren't like in a regular school structured thing where I was like pulling them out. So it really wasn't a big ordeal for them. It probably is harder for some people whose children maybe have been in the regular school setting for years and years, and then you're pulling them. There might be some backlashes from what I've seen and read online from people, but I didn't have that from our kids either because they didn't know anything different than homeschooling and then being on the boat like a lot of the time. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like what Randy said, you know, when you were saying how you brought your son, and at first it was like, nope, we're going to go do this. And then you almost like have to condition them to want to be aboard and a part of the lifestyle. That's, yeah.
And mine have been on board since they were very little. Like my oldest, his first time going out on a sailboat, he was 2 weeks old. And then my other one was 6 months old. And the only reason he was 6 months old was because he was born very early. So he was in the NICU for like 3.5 months. That's a whole other thing. But he would have been on the boat too if he was like 2 weeks old. But my oldest, he was like 2 weeks old the first time he went on a sailboat. So they've grown up on the water and stuff. So
I want to get with you at some point and hear all about like raising babies on a boat.
Yeah. They loved it.
All right, last question I see in the chat, and then we'll probably cut it after this. But thanks again for being here, guys. Had a lot of fun with you, and I definitely want to do this again. We've got more live sailors coming up. I'm going to try to get Phoenix on here, DD214 on here, and maybe Pink Flamingo, so we can just keep building. So Jessica asked, do you wear sunscreen, and has salt water changed your hair and skin at all?
I've got a little trick.
Okay.
Jump in the water. Make sure you soak your hair with fresh water first before you jump in so that your hair doesn't absorb all the salt and anything else that might be in the water. It's just a little trick.
Okay.
Leanne,
I'm gonna try that next time.
Leanne, I
try that.
That actually is a good.
Your makeup tutorial sunscreen video, and that was really cute.
Oh,
That was so
Thank you.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I'm
haven't
dying.
seen that yet.
Yeah, it's like kind
yeah,
of
we
like
wear
a joke video. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go. I loved that video. I loved it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was like my makeup routine living on a sailboat, and it's just me putting on sunscreen. But we have like 2 different kinds of sunscreen. We have like our reef safe sunscreen, so whenever we're getting in the water, we always try to wear like the reef friendly sunscreen. But since that is a lot more expensive sunscreen, then we also have like the days out on the water, on the boats kind of sunscreen as well. And then it's kind of fun. Like our hair is definitely getting a little fried from all the sun and all of the salt, but it's also like natural highlights. So it's also like free highlights. So yeah.
Yeah, I get people really, we wear a lot of sunscreen. And also I just think there's a reality in which like when you're living in the elements in the same, like when you're out in the Bahamas, there's no amount of sunscreen that I could put on myself or my kids that we wouldn't get some form of a sunburn, too much sun. Like it just doesn't, like people, I have a video right now that's for some reason, I posted it like 2 months ago, and for some reason it's getting like a ton of views like again, and I'm sunburned in it and people are pissed. And I'm like, I put sunblock on 4 times that day, okay? Like I promise you, it's just that we were out and about and we were in the sun. And, so yeah, we wear sunscreen. And I think that I'm really lucky, and that maybe it's because I grew up on Cape Cod and I basically was like constantly in salt water. But I think my skin and my hair prefer salt water, honestly.
It's definitely
Because we're mermaids.
Yeah. What was that? Well, I didn't hear. Or what did you say?
I was gonna say, well, that's awesome, because it was definitely a significant change for like my hair and everything coming from Colorado.
Yeah.
So,
I think my skin was
Dry
clothing.
to the humid, right? The dryness to the humid. I felt the same way.
I think clothing's really important to protect your skin too, because like everyone was saying, you're going to get some kind of burn being out in the sun that much. So I wear a buff. It's a little thing that covers your face. It goes around your neck and then you pull it up around your face. And I wear a big dorky hat. I'm always the girl with the big dorky hat on. Rash guards, you gotta protect your skin, and sunscreen alone, you have to be careful with sunscreen because a lot of it will damage our reefs. So you don't want to do that. You want to get reef safe sunscreen and use clothing as much as possible, I would say, just to eliminate any toxins in your body as well.
These sun shirts have become my new best friend.
Yep. Mine too, with the hoods. You guys wear those?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you really sacrifice fashion when you're sailing, and that's fine.
Except for them. I know they're I've seen the fashion.
I'm just like as big of a hat as I can to cover as much of my body. I don't care.
Yes.
You don't have any room for extra fashion clothes, so you make up outfits as you go, and you
absolutely.
Very fashionable. I got a turtle on my back.
Look at you.
I have a turtle shirt.
That's so cool. Well, we do have a few more questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of these questions real quick, and then we'll save them for next time. Or if you guys want to, I'll message you because we're in a chat together. I'll message you the questions, and I think it's just one or two. But I think I've got them. But we're going to wrap up and hopefully do this again. We had tons of fun. If you haven't already, please go follow each and all of these content creators. They do go live all the time. Lots of different adventures all over the place. So you guys have any more final comments before we take off and go back to fixing our boats?
It was fun. It was just so fun. Yeah, I'm glad we all got to finally chat in person.
Yeah, it was really cool to see everybody face to face.
Nice to meet everyone. I'll be following your stories. I enjoy them so much.
Yeah, same here.
Stay with us.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday evening. And everybody in the comments, thanks for all the questions too, and for following and all the gifts. We appreciate you.
Thank you all for coming on.
We'll see you out there on the water.
Bye.
Bye, guys.